It's season 16, episode 6, the final week of the auditions. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz
Hey AfterBuzzers, good evening. Thank you so much for joining me. I am your host, Kim Davey, and tonight we are going to be talking all things season 16, episode 6, the final of the auditions. And I am very excited to let you know tonight that we are actually patching in from another part of the country, Tennessee to be exact, Miss Jalen Sands, who was on last week's, or the week before's episode 5 or 4 it technically was, the opening audition number. So Jalen, darling, welcome to the show. So lovely to have you here.
Thank you so much. I know I couldn't make it there, but thank you so much for working with me. I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, I'm ready to talk about all things So You Think You Can Dance in this season.
Yay! And it looks like you're in New York, but you are not. That is slightly deceptive. Where are you coming to us from tonight?
So I'm in Hendersonville, Tennessee, but I am actually in my bedroom. I just added this little mural in my room to get a little sense of some city, but I'm excited to head out to LA sometime soon, actually.
Yay, well, we can't wait to have you here, and thank you so much for being with us. I can't wait to, at the end of this AfterBuzz after show, we're going to do a little bit more of an interview, get more in-depth of your life, but for right now, we want to just know your overall thoughts on tonight's episode.
Oh yeah, tonight's episode, it was amazing, all the talent there. I just am blown away every time there's a new audition episode. I met all the people that were on tonight's episode. Like, they're all so sweet and amazing, and like getting to see it live and then getting to see it on the TV screen is just amazing, and I was rooting for every single person on there. So I just love them all. I'm so proud of everyone.
That's so awesome. And like, can you tell us a little bit more about the bonds that you form while you're backstage and while you're filming this?
Yeah, so it's just amazing because dancers, I feel like, already have this connection just because we're all so creative and we relate to each other on this artistic level. So we like just automatically click, and everyone is just so sweet. Like, automatically when you meet one another, it's like, oh my gosh, another best friend. Like, everyone is the sweetest. We help each other stretch, help each other, like, calm each other's nerves, and it's just amazing. And we just are there to help each other out, and that's what everyone there was doing. And so I'm so grateful that I got to meet all these new people, and I made some amazing best friends. So
something about dance and theatre, etc. It's just another world, and you're just completely taken out of your day-to-day, and you just really deeply bond with everyone. So yay, amazing, super exciting. So specifically, let's talk about them individually from tonight. So first up, we had Andrew Avila and Melanie Mercedes, 25 and 24, from the Bronx, New York City, kind of where you are standing right now, not? So we had salsa, and it was a little bit of a different type of salsa insofar as they said, was more of the street ballroom style. Overall thoughts on their performance?
Oh, it was absolutely amazing. It was so entertaining and energetic, and like they were saying a little more sassy with like their shimmying and everything. Yeah. It was just amazing. Like, I had seen them and talked to them before, and they're just like warming up and everything. They're like the most outgoing people as well, and like they really portrayed that on the stage too. So it was so entertaining. I was like cheering them on from my room back at home. But yeah, I love them, and they were just so entertaining. I think the judges really caught that too. They were like, oh my gosh, and they were just like firecrackers on the stage, actually.
Totally firecrackers. I just thought they had just so much fun, and they were just so exciting to watch. Obviously, Andrew had from previous year been told to smile more, as they mentioned, and he was knocking that out of the park. I really loved her outfit as well, with the sequins and the black. It was really cool lines and a different style, I thought, which was really nice.
Really nice, and like the sparkles on her like dress were really reflecting. It was so perfect, and like every move like was just so thought out, like amazingly to go with like their lines and the way they were dressed, and it was just a whole total package, like
full package. The key to it, right? Everything has to be in order. I just love the way she was so tiny as well, and he's just able to throw her around so effortlessly. Mm-hmm. So something probably you can't relate to. How tall are you, hun?
I know, I deal with this all the time. Oh my gosh. I'm like 5'9.5".
Are you?
Yeah.
Hashtag jealous because I'm like 5'3", and that's amazing. And you do some modeling as well, correct?
Yeah, I'm signed with an agency in Nashville. Hopefully, like whenever I move out to LA, I'm actually going to be there in January.
Yeah.
So whenever I get out there, hopefully I can get with another modeling agency there and sign with that. But yeah, definitely working with that. And yeah, because it's funny because I'm 5'9.5", yet I still am like, I want more heels. I want to like, boom, like just be this skyscraper.
You go for it, girlfriend. That's quite funny considering you're standing in front of one right now.
I mean, I was like, wait a second.
Okay, so moving on to the second contestant for tonight, we had Michael Saylors. Filipino, said he was super shy originally and bullied, and he found breaking at a club at school, which was very cool. He does a lot of weddings and bar mitzvahs and all these kind of things, so he's obviously working a lot in dance, which is fantastic when you can actually make a living as a day job, which is excellent. 2017, he said that he got placed in top 100 beat boys in the world, which is amazing. But for me, his elevation was absolutely out of this world. Like when he did that dive, it was like in super slow motion.
Yeah, he soars. It's insane. The stop 360 is like perfect of him just like caught in midair. And yeah, he's so amazing. Like even though he was like the shy kid growing up, like if you talk to him now, he's like broken that shell. He's the most sweetest guy ever. So I'm just like, I'm proud of him because I've talked to him and I still keep up with him. And I was talking to him tonight, like as he was on TV, like I'm watching you right now. So it's so cool. He's amazing.
Well, and I noticed, like, from someone who's shy to coming out on stage the way he did with, like, pumping it up before he even hit the actual stage. That's very good for confidence, isn't it?
That song, he was just going
hard.
So exciting.
The transitions and the footwork, but more than anything, more than I've ever seen in any b-boy before, was literally his freeze ability to right on the beat. It was insane. It was just stunning. It was like he was in slow-mo himself.
He just freezes like on the dot. And Dietrich's had even like commented on that. And like, especially Dietrich's coming from like this huge background of doing all that kind of stuff. Like he knows, and it's just, and not only he sees that, but like everyone can see it because he's so good at it. It's amazing.
Yeah. And just talking about Dietrich's, etc., how much time do you actually get with the judges? How much time do you actually see them?
So you don't really get to see them, at least a lot. At least I hadn't. The first time I had seen them actually was when I walked out on that stage, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, they're right there. It's crazy. And like I have the biggest, like, not biggest crush on Dietrich, but like I like looked up to him for so long. I like took a class from him actually at a convention when I was like, who knows, like 13, like 12 or 13. Cool. And I like watched him whenever he was on America's Best Dance Crew, and like even when he first tried out for So You Think. So I just like was like fangirling, and it was crazy. I love them. And like just getting out on that stage and seeing them for the first time after seeing them just on a TV screen or like on Instagram and stuff, like it's just a whole new world just seeing that in person.
It's quite surreal, isn't it? Because I think you expect when you meet someone who you've idolized for a while, them to be like larger than life, like supersized humans, and then they're actually just normal people, and you're like, oh, okay.
Like, okay.
I could do that. I could be that.
You're like, okay, I can talk to them and not freak out.
Too much, right? Hold it in. All right, cool. So just moving on to Mariah Russell, who was the third one out tonight, and she's the contemporary dancer. Now, I obviously was like, do you know her? Because she's also from Tennessee, Nashville. So just before we actually get into her performance, can you tell me a little bit more about the history of you and Mariah?
Yeah, so obviously, Mariah and I are around the same area, but we went to two different studios. So we had like heard of each other, but we had never like formally met before. Okay. And then actually, whenever we were going out to LA and everything, like I met her at the airport for the very first time, like in person, and we just like clicked right away, and like we stuck together like through this whole process, and like we've gotten so much closer now. And she's the sweetest soul ever, so I'm really proud of her.
Awesome. That's it's so interesting this season. I feel more than any season previously, the whole idea of the backstory that's been pushing forward these contestants. And when I think about it, you were actually one of the ones that they didn't give a backstory to, but you made it through without one. So you go, girl. Like just slipping it in there before the intro. So Mariah's obviously was the idea that the fact that her dad had been away from the family since she was very young in prison, which was really sad. And her mum having worked super hard to allow her to dance because she loves it. So it was definitely well worth it on her mum's part because she's absolutely stunning. I just, as they said, she's totally smoked it. The biggest thing for me was how well that choreography did fit the music. It was just so perfect and so heartfelt. And they were correct in saying that it took her a little while to get into that. But in that space at the very end, you just felt it. It was...
That passion was just like pouring. Yeah.
Absolutely. And also she's obviously been very strongly based in ballet. She looks like a ballerina to me, just to no end. Do you know, I think we may have lost her for a second. So I just think that Mariah's technique was just absolutely phenomenal. She is definitely going to go far, and she had Lorian crying, so that's a good start. I think if she's going to connect on that level, then super, super promising there. So we just got... Jalen's going to be back in a few seconds. I'm just going to move on to the next contestant for the evening. So we had Phoebe Cochnis, and she was the obviously star of the evening. So she was from Denver, Colorado, our jazz dancer, and she is the one who had Down syndrome. Now, I think we've been seeing this advertised throughout the whole season that we were going to be getting to this particular person tonight, and Phoebe did not disappoint. I think what a star, like what an absolute joy. She was so sweet and so had the true passion for dance. It was so lovely to see. So apparently she had won, she's from Colorado, and she had won Colorado Miss Amazing, which is a beauty pageant for those with disabilities, and she now sort of mentors the younger girls that go through that. Anyway, so Phoebe came out. She absolutely loved all the attention that she was getting. You could tell where she was just like, yeah, you can clap for me. I love this. It was gorgeous. And so she came out and she gave the performance of her life. And I was incredibly impressed with her flexibility. I was definitely like, wow, girl, you got that going on. And the sass and the eye winking, Dietrich, she got a few winks in there for him. But obviously, it was not up to anywhere near the level that is required for So You Think You Can Dance season 16, which was a shame because I thought, wow, maybe we could just, maybe it would be, you know, you're living in hope. And then I'm also very, very glad that the judges, even though it's a good story and even though their hearts probably wanted to put her through, they did not, because it would just, I don't think it would gel well with the rest of the contestants, etc. So what Nigel did was instead he said, you will be my guest at the Academy. You're not in the competition, but you can be my guest. And she literally is going to get to do all those classes for free at the Academy with the rest of the contestants. So that will be an incredible experience for her. So very, very cool. All right. And then just while we are waiting for Jalen to come back, we're just having a few technical difficulties. We will get there. I just want to say big thank you to all of you for tuning in and following us. If you would like to shout out in the chat or any comments or any questions that you have for Jalen when we have her back, please go ahead and pop them in there. But before we move on to the next person, I just wanted to say, like I said, thank you so much for being part of So You Think You Can Dance with AfterBuzz TV and making us the ESPN of TV talk. For us to continue to grow, though, as you know, every week we ask if you could please just help us out a little bit. Firstly, by subscribing to YouTube, giving us a ratings on iTunes would be great. 5's always good. hint, hint, nudge, nudge. And always leaving a comment as well. That would be much appreciated. And as I said, we can shout you out. Being part of AfterBuzz TV has been an awesome experience for myself and so many of the hosts here. We get an opportunity to do what we love. For me, that is all the dance-related shows. It is my life. I love it so much. So thank you so much for supporting us in doing that. And then you too, just putting it out there. If you ever, if you're a host, aspiring host, and you're like, I would love to do what they're doing, if you get yourself to LA, then contact us and you may have the opportunity to be part of the team here as well. So just note to self. All right, I think we are just having a few problems with Jalen. We're going to try and get her back. Hopefully we will as soon as possible. I'm just going to say, try again. She may be looking at us live. Awesome. Cool. So moving on, the next contestant for tonight was James Cody. Now, James was an interesting story in that he had not auditioned just tonight, but he had auditioned for season 10, season 11 and season 12 and did get through to Vegas in season 12. He's 26 from Dallas, Texas, hip hop animation. Now, here's an interesting one. This is somebody who had done a class or two before auditioning. Now, I don't know how you feel about that at home, but I kind of feel like, oh, really, buddy? Think about all the work, all the time, all the effort that so many others are putting into this, and you just want to kind of wing it. Now, I know that can work sometimes, and in this case, it actually did. It was successful for him. He got through, but I don't know if he should have, because Nigel mentioned that even though he did a really cool performance, I mean, his actual animation was amazing. He had those yellow shoes, so you could constantly watch his footwork, which was very good, and he just had something special about him. But Dietrich was one of the ones who said he loved him, but he actually said no. Whereas Nigel and Mary and Lorianne said yes, even when Nigel said, you annoy me because you haven't done the work. So I don't understand actually why they put him through, because I don't think it's fair. We'll see in the academy how far he's going to go. But I think he's been given a very big opportunity here. So if he can turn that around and change my mind, and probably many others, then hopefully he can do that. But otherwise, do the work, buddy. Lorianne said when preparation meets opportunity, that is when you had the opportunity to explode. He hadn't done the preparation though. So was he worth the opportunity? I just want to know if you guys want to pop it in the chat. Go for gold. All right. And then next up, we had the person whose name's always mispronounced, so hopefully I'll get it right. Maya Blinickers. Oh, we'll just go with that. So Maya, I'll get the first name right. So she was the one with the blue top. We're talking contemporary dancer, 19 from Massachusetts. Wow, talk about strong. It was insane. I don't think I've ever seen such a strong dancer insofar as the power, the musicality. She got everything right on the beat. She used the stage extensively and just every movement. It's like she could have been in a boxing ring, I felt. Mary said she had the perfect audition of the season, one of those perfect of the season, which I don't know if I agree with that, but I definitely think she's super strong. So it'll be very interesting to see how she fares in a softer number, more of a softer contemporary, a ballet, just the jazz, just to see if she can come more into her body and give a softer performance, because at this stage, she's super strong. Jalen, hopefully we'll be back in a minute. We can't wait to have you, doll. And then we had, by all means, the best contestant of, I feel like, the entire season so far. We had Eddie Hoyt back from 19 years old. He auditioned last year. He was the tapper. And my favorite by far, because he was so incredibly vulnerable and so incredibly in tune with himself, and just a completely incredible guy who had come out on television, live television last season, season 15, as a gay guy, right? And I don't even know for sure if his parents, they probably had an idea, but knew that. And it seems like in this past year, by him coming out on national TV, which is quite brave if you ask me, coming out on national TV and actually telling the world, this is who I am, and then literally dealing with the repercussions of that in the year following. He said it was so liberating but super hard, and it sounds like he's just flourished since. The whole idea of give a little love and it all comes back to you, just standing up for who you are, believing in who you are, telling the world who you are and not caring what anybody else thinks of you. Or kudos to him. Amazing. Oh, so amazing. And that performance tonight, the tap number that he did, freestyle, people, freestyle, was just absolutely heart-wrenching. He said that he didn't want to choreograph it because he needed to feel it. And wow, you could so feel every single beat, pause, emotion, everything that came out of that. As the judges said, it was truly an experience, and Lorianne said, greatness needs no explanation, and it's so true. Makes me want to cry. So much heart. He said that his life has literally changed, or so many opportunities have come for him since the time of yay, I'm a mid thing, and there I see her back, yay. So since the time of last season, he's had so many more opportunities. He's now working at Center Stage in Utah, one of the top dance schools literally in the country, if not the planet. So Jalen, darling, what did you think of Eddie's performance tonight, the tap routine?
Absolutely amazing. Like I started like bawling.
Yeah.
He's just so sweet, and he's so unapologetic, and he just like left all of him out on that stage. And I was like, wait a second, what? Whenever he was like, oh, it's like, it was all, improv. And I was just like taken aback. And I was like, oh my gosh. Cause like, you really felt it, like his connection with like what he was doing. He was just feeling it. And it was emotional. Just like the judges said, like I completely felt that. So.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like he was literally, I felt like he was taking us on a journey of reliving like the last year of like coming out and like dealing with the family and the parents, and then probably opinions and just finding himself in the world, and how tough that was. Crazy. So cool. I'm so glad you're back. Yay. Welcome. So speaking of like preparation and, not choreographing versus freestyle versus hard out choreographing, what went into your audition? Take us through the process of who choreographed your routine, how long were you working on it, etc.
Yeah, so actually I choreographed it myself.
Nice.
And so mostly, well, I don't know about how far in, but like once I did, I think like the big like straddle, like jump leap after that, it was all like just improving. Like I had some ideas, but I was just like, I'm gonna just feel it. Kind of like how like Eddie was like, I'm gonna just feel it. So, and I guess it worked out well. So that was good. So I had gone through just like preparing it. I actually had to prepare it pretty fast. And so I just threw something together, and then I had some time to just kind of like perfect little details. And my initial like video that I had like sent in or gotten prepared to show them, it's definitely different from what I presented when I was on stage, which that performance was way better because I'd been able to take some time to myself and just really think like, how do I want to portray like my style and like how I want to portray the story. So that's kind of like what went into it. A lot of it was just like for myself, like I just want to do me. I want to stand out because I'm definitely in the biggest bracket is contemporary girls that try out. So I was really like, okay, I need to showcase like my style and myself. And so hopefully, I think I did. It's kind of like a contempt pop is what I like to call it.
Cute.
Kind of style. So, and I think it worked. I'm pretty sure. I hope so.
Well,
And,
it definitely did. That in particular, that back bend, holy bananas! With your abdominals must be like absolute bricks, are they?
no, I was just like, I mean, I guess, but like at the same time, like my adrenaline was just like pumping. So I was like, I'm gonna just go for it.
So like superwoman strength.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay, it worked out. So it was, so that was cool.
And so can you take us through, just for everyone at home who potentially doesn't know what actually happens behind the scenes with the audition process, can you bullet point us through the steps of the auditioning that you had to go through?
Yeah, so originally I had prepared that solo, but condensed down to a minute.
Yep.
And I submitted that video, and then they accepted and like so on, and then you move on to the next step, and you go out to one of the like producer stages, like auditions. So I did that.
Where did you go for that?
I went to Dallas, Texas for that round. And then that went well. I got like the little golden like slip of paper. And then later, a couple weeks later, we had to wait till the LA audition had finished to get our results back. Because the sheet wasn't a guarantee. They were just going to kind of go back and look through everything and then decide from there, like who was going to proceed. And then I got that call, and I was like head over heels excited. And then from that point on, I like flew out to LA. And so
they flew you out, right? They put you up, they fly you out. So I think a lot of people were thinking that this year, because the auditions were all in LA, everyone, was at a disadvantage. But no, if you got through the producer round in New York or Dallas or LA, everything, right?
Yeah, it was like the whole, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm like
spoiled.
Superstar. I was like, thank you so much. Yeah, it was such a treat. So I'm so grateful for that.
Fun. And how long were you out here for that audition part,
We were out in LA a little less than a week, I believe. Just getting things prepared, doing like B-roll. So just getting some B-roll and interviews and just preparing for the big day. And then that day came, and then my mom and my aunt actually flew out themselves to come and watch my audition. And then so on, and it happened, and it was amazing and surreal. So that's kind of like how it went in those stages. And then obviously like I made it to the Academy, so then we'll just see how that plays out, obviously. So Academy actually starts next Monday, so you may see me on there. So
awesome. And so tell us a little bit more about the week when you're in LA. So obviously it's not like you just go and do your audition. I understand you have rehearsal for the audition. There's a lot more to it. You do like a whole bunch of paperwork and bloods and all this stuff. Can you just walk us through the reality? And then you're watching everybody else from the audience, right?
Yeah, so I actually in line, like I was maybe like 14 to 17 like in line to go up on the stage. So I got to see the first like maybe first 10, because then you get to go backstage and you get to warm up and whatnot. And then it was actually two before me. I had two before me, and then they called a lunch break.
Oh, no.
And I was ready to go.
That's the worst.
I was like, oh man. And like, I don't like to eat before I dance. Like I'll have a little bit, obviously I'm not going to pass out, but I just can't like have a lot because I'll feel bloated. So I was just like sitting there watching everyone like eat their lunch. I'm like, I gotta go on the stage. And
there's got to be something good in that, because at least then the judges are fed and ready to go again. Whereas if it was just before lunch, they might all be just thinking about lunch.
Yeah, so they're a little more energized.
Yeah.
So that was good. So, and then after that, I was still ready to go. I guess afterwards, like while everyone was eating, I just like ate a little bit and I was still stretching, and I was like, okay, I'm okay. And so, and then I went on. But yeah, it's really cool getting to sit out in the audience and like watch your peers and like watch all these dancers that you've been talking to, like get to see like their craft and how they present themselves, and like everyone's so unique and so different. And Yeah, so I just like praise everyone that's been on that stage because everyone's worth being there. And obviously they made it that far and they deserve to be there. So
Totally. And I understand obviously with the cutting of the different episodes as well, like the order is not the order that was happening in the actual audition, right? They've put week 1 with week, the last people, it's all over the show. So when you were 14th, so you were probably on the first day, were you?
yeah, I was on the first day.
And there were 3 days.
Actually. But I was on like the 4th audition episode that aired.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they were just kind of like switching some things around, I think. So, but yeah, so I was actually early in the original, like in real life. But
And did you get officially interviewed by Kat or no?
I got interviewed by Kat after I got off the stage, I believe. Like it was afterwards, and then I went and talked to her, and she like had watched my audition backstage, and she was like talking to me about it and like how my style is different and things like that. But I hadn't like the previous days that we were there leading up to it, I hadn't had like an interview with just Kat by herself until then.
Okay. And so speaking of your style being slightly different, let's just talk now about your background and your dance background, etc. So can you just tell us a little bit more about where you grew up and where you went to dance and what your plans are and all that stuff?
Yeah, so I obviously right now I'm in Hendersonville, Tennessee. It's just about 25-ish minutes away from Nashville. I was actually born in Killeen, Texas, but I was only there for like a year, so I was 1 year old. And then we moved a lot for my mom's work, and then we landed in Tennessee. And this is actually the longest I've been living somewhere. So this is like our 9th year, I believe, here, 9th or 10th year. So we definitely settled here, so that's good. And then I got into dancing by seeing some girls like at a talent show when I was younger in school. And I went up to the owner and was like, oh, I want to do this. And she was like, okay, let me talk to your mom. And so that's how it all started. And then now I've been dancing for 9 years, and I've been on a competition team for almost all of those years, maybe about 6 of them. And so I've just been competing regularly. And now I just graduated as a senior from Hendersonville High School.
Yay.
And yay. I actually graduated early.
You did it. Oh, cool.
Good. Yeah, in December I was done. I was like, I'm trying to get out of here. And then just focus on dance too that whole second semester. And I actually, like, the coincidence of it is like I graduated in December, so that whole second semester I had open for dance and whatnot. And that's whenever all of this started. So I actually wouldn't have been able to do So You Think You Can Dance if I hadn't have graduated early. So
everything happens for a reason.
Exactly. So I was talking to my mom about that. I was like, dang, this is crazy. Like, this wouldn't have happened. And yeah, so it's crazy how things play out. And, but yeah, so I have been with Workplace. We're fairly new. We're going into our 3rd season, and I'm actually going to be like teaching there this next year for a little bit until I move. And
Workplace is owned, you were saying, by the season 3, one of the top 10 contestants.
Yeah.
Jessie?
So our owner, Jessie Peralta, she was on season 3 and she was in the top 10, I believe. And so I've actually had her since I started dancing whenever I first moved here. And then she actually branched off of that studio I was originally at, and she created her own studio. So, and I moved along with her because I had just grown up with her. So, so she's like taught me almost all that I like know. Her and another choreographer, and now he works at the Millennium in Nashville, Kimmy Beard. He tried out a couple times for So You Think, and he was actually on America's Best Dance Crew and made it on there. So I've had a lot of help from them to really like coach me and like nurture me into like who I am today. And definitely like they've helped me with my style and kind of nurtured me with like being able to create. They've really allowed me to, especially this past year, I created my solo, which was Desperado. And then I choreographed a trio that's won like national titles this year. that I was in with my sister actually. And so it's really fun. And I've actually gotten a lot more into choreographing recently. So that's another big thing that I love doing so much. So I'm glad that I've been able to do that. And I actually, I'm doing the big move out to LA in January.
Yay.
So I know, I'm so excited.
Sunshine. And what is your biggest goal? Like, what is your biggest dance goal? What's your dream?
Oh, I don't know. There's so many things I could think of. I mean, I really would love to I don't know. It's so
To be
hard.
decided. That's cool. I'll ask you again in 6 months once you're out here. You might have a better idea.
I have I'm gonna write down some ideas.
Awesome. So hey, I'm just talking really briefly now. So that was the end tonight of the audition phase of season 16, which is amazing. It's gone so quick already. And so next week we get into the academy and we get to see how you do. Exciting. And so we're moving into the Dolby Theatre, which is on Hollywood Boulevard, for those of you who don't know. So very exciting. Season 16 is honestly looking like, I think, the strongest ever. The caliber. And maybe it's also because we're focusing on, during the auditions, they don't ever put in those that are, not so good for entertainment value. They really do, I think, justice to dance and to the fact that people are putting themselves out there and finally giving us the creme de la creme. So I'm so excited to see what happens. And what, in a nutshell, if you were to make a prediction based on those that we have potentially already seen in the auditions that we have seen on television, I know you probably know, but who from the auditions on TV do you think would do well going forward?
I don't know. I really think Gino is really strong.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some of his work. He's also done some ballroom stuff, so he's kind of got a well-rounded thing going on. So, and his audition was beautiful as well. So, I definitely think Gino is going to do really great. I also think Mariah, she I've followed her and stuff. We followed each other on Instagram and whatnot, even though we hadn't met before. And she's really well rounded as well. There's a lot of great people this season, so it's
Really are.
one after another. It's this person's got this, and this person's got this, and it's just I guess just choreography, just making sure everything's on point. But yeah, I just think everyone has a really great chance of getting so far and putting their best effort in. With what I've seen so far, they're all so strong. So
and what I think is amazing is we haven't even seen, we have not seen through the auditions yet half them. We don't even know half who's going to the academy. And I saw tonight in a montage Luke Phillips, who's had long dark hair, and they were literally saying a star is born. So I'm excited to see the likes of him in academy. So we are pretty much nearly out of time. So Jalen, darling, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. It has been an absolute pleasure, and all the best, fingers crossed. Very exciting. And if nothing else, we can't wait to have you out here in LA next year. It's very exciting that you've decided to dedicate, at this stage of your life, age 19, your life to dance and to pursue that as a career. All the best. Where there's a will, there's a way. You absolutely can make it happen. And you've obviously got the technique and everything to do that. So in your journey, where can everyone find you? How can they follow you on social media?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Jalen R. Sands. So just my first name, my last name, and then my middle initial in the middle. So Jalen R. Sands, yeah, on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you. And everyone, you can find me on all my social media at Kim Davey Live. That's all we've got time for this week, but please tune in next week when we talk Academy, and we will have more guests throughout the rest of the season. So Jalen, on behalf of AfterBuzz TV, thank you so much. Have a beautiful night. I know it's about 1 a.m. in Tennessee right now. You're a trooper. All right. So thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.